Welcome back to the Around the Diamond podcast with your host, Sam Edwards, episode 186, giving you all the latest news and giving you my top 10 left fielders right now. It's going to be a fantastic episode. Thank you for joining me. I greatly appreciate it. If you're listening to this episode right now, if you're on Spotify, if you're on Apple Podcasts right now, just so you know, you can find this episode on YouTube. It probably won't be up as soon as the audio version is up because it takes a little bit longer, but it should be up within a couple days. So if you're listening to this on maybe Thursday, maybe Friday, Saturday even, the YouTube version should be up. So go check us out on YouTube. Just subscribe over there. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. I'm trying to get it up week by week. It's definitely a learning curve, but we're making progress, and I appreciate you listening, period. Also, if you enjoy this podcast, make sure to leave a 5-star review. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever it is, leave 5 stars, and it greatly helps us head up the charts in baseball podcasts so we can be recommended to people. I greatly appreciate it, guys. Thank you for listening. Let's get into a couple news and notes. First off, huge extension for Manny Machado. It's a big one here. 11 years, $350 million. Absolutely insane. The money the Padres are giving out. They just gave out the huge extension to Yu Darvish, which extends him through age 41, 42 season. Absolutely crazy. And now Manny Machado extended through age 40. Crazy, man. Absolutely crazy that they are getting, that they are handing out these deals. I'm super curious what this means for Juan Soto. And I know, I don't want to be the negative person as soon as they give out this big extension, but you gotta think, man, what does this mean for Juan Soto and his future with the team? He's got at least one more year, I think 2 more years of control. Still a young guy, obviously going to control huge amount of money. It's going to be insane, and the Padres have given out a lot of money lately, and especially to people in their 30s. So I'm curious to see how this team ages. Are they going with the Steve Cohen blueprint at this point? I don't know, man. I don't know if they're just going for it and their owners don't care, or their owners just want to win, whatever it is. I appreciate it, man. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's fantastic. It's great for the sport, and I'm loving everything they've been doing. It's been fantastic. If it's a viable way to build a team long-term for contention, I am not sure about that. I don't know, man. 11 years, $350 million. He had 5 years, I think about 150 still up, and then they passed his February 16th deadline that he had set for them to be discussing. So I'm pretty shocked that this has happened. So I don't know. I'm surprised that it was able to actually come through. But either way, impressive for the Padres. Yeah, it's a lot. It's adding on an extra 6 years. 6 years, $200 million, I think. Originally, their offer was 5 years, $110 million extra on top of the 5 years, $150. So they definitely upped the value quite a bit, added on an extra year as well. So kind of crazy. Manny Machado has obviously been worth it. He's been an amazing player. Obviously, just narrowly loses the number 1 third base spot for myself personally. If you haven't listened to last week's episode, make sure to go check it out. Apple, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you consume podcasts, it's there. That was a great episode. So I definitely recommend it. But he's an amazing player. He's fantastic. Glove, bat, whatever you want to go with. He's amazing. He is a superstar and has been a superstar pretty consistently. But it's the 30s, and I'm not trying to be ageist here or anything, but come on, he's going into his 30s, and you got to be realistic about these situations, and the bat speed is definitely going to lessen. His, his profile is really good. Like I said, fantastic defensively and very good power, average, walk percentage, all of that. So the hope is that he ages well, but, most players tend to take that downfall, as we know. So I'm curious. I don't know if I would. If it means that Soto's gone, this is probably the wrong move. I would definitely sign Soto over Machado. I mean, he's a better player, but also I'd rather commit more money to Soto, more years, make him the cornerstone. But if they can also sign Soto, this is insane. Absolutely insane, and this team really needs to back up this production because I don't know, man. I don't know how they're pulling this off. They're one of the smaller markets in baseball, and you got Bob Nutting and freaking Rob, who's the frick? I forgot the Colorado Rockies owner, Dick Monfort. They're whining, they're complaining about the CBA, saying it didn't help them at all. Like, gosh, man, get over yourselves and start caring about your team a little bit. Stop treating it like a business and start going for it. We really start to need to put the pressure on them, and the Padres are definitely helping in that instance, especially. I mean, you can point to the Mets and their crazy payroll, and that's definitely putting pressure on the lower market owners to really start putting more money into this thing. But the Padres not being the biggest market and going all in like this is crazy, and something I've never seen them do before. And they are really going for it, and I absolutely love it. I am really curious to see if it actually works out. I could easily see them winning a World Series within the next 5 years. Just fantastic players all around, but Soto's next up on the list. I don't know if they're just gonna they're gonna try for Soto and then get outbid by somebody else. It would make the trade for him a little bit less meaningful as well. Unless they can, win a World Series this season and then say goodbye to him, I guess. I don't know. Either way, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to keep Soto now, especially with how much money and how old these guys are. It's crazy. It's crazy the amount of money they have invested in this team, but I appreciate it, man. I absolutely appreciate it. Thank you, AJ Preller. Thank you. I don't even know who the owner of the Padres is, but props to you, man. Props to you putting your money in the team. It's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I love it. It's great for the sport. It's fantastic. Spring training games. I don't have much else to say, but spring training games finally started. They finally started. I'm loving watching baseball again. It's great. The nice sunny weather of Arizona, Florida, all that good stuff. I'm really enjoying watching games, just seeing a variety of different young guys. Obviously, don't take much into account in terms of performance. We've seen guys like Bobby Dahlbeck go off for spring training and then not perform at all. We saw it in the past, just with plenty of different young players coming up, do fantastic in spring training, and then just don't perform even half that level when they get to the majors, which is understandable because we shouldn't be taking spring training stats at face value. So, so in that scenario, it's not great because you can't really analyze it too much, but you can analyze velocity is definitely a good thing that you can analyze during spring training, new pitches, movement of pitches, things like that. That is very helpful. And obviously it's better when a guy does well in spring training. That's good. And if he's hitting the ball hard, doesn't even matter where he's hitting it. I want to see that they're hitting the ball hard. We're also seeing the pitch clock. A lot of discourse about the pitch clock. I am fully on board. Like I've said before on this podcast, and not recently, but I've said it before, at least I think this offseason. I think we're going to get to a point where it's not even going to be noticeable. Everybody's going to be perfectly in tune with it. Yes, you're rarely going to see, pitcher wasn't ready. The batter wasn't facing the pitcher with 8 seconds left or 7 seconds left on the clock, whatever it is. Yes, you're going to see that, but and there's going to be some growing pains, obviously. But either way, I think it's good for the sport. I think it moves the game along very quickly, and I've already noticed a difference. For me, watching baseball, I'm very quick to pull out the phone, switch to another browser. If I'm watching on, watching my laptop or work computer or whatever it is. I'm so quick to go to another browser in between pitches and things like that. But now that it's moving super quickly, I don't feel that need anymore. I feel that when I start doing that, I start missing pitches, and it's like, oh, I got to start paying attention a little bit more because the pitches are coming in a lot quicker. Games are moving along a lot faster. They're still around like 2.5 hours at least, so still a lot of baseball to enjoy. I'm really liking it, and I think it's great for the sport. I think it's fantastic. I was a little shaky on it at first, but I'm really liking it right now. So fully on board with the pitch clock. No complaining over here. All right, let's get into the top 10 left fielders right now. Left field sucks. Can I just say that right off the rip? Left field sucks. It's a poor position. It's really tough to tell. You got to look at specifically where these guys are playing. And obviously you still got to do that with the infield. There's still some confusion. Oh, Nico Horner played shortstop, but now he's going to be playing second base going forward. Things like that. But left field specifically, very annoying. Also, not super important defensively. It's generally where you put like your worst defensive guy. So I'm leaning a little bit more on the bat here. Little bit more. Not overdoing it, really. As far as I think, I don't know. Maybe let me know. Let me know if I'm off my rocker here with any of these picks. But we'll see. Number 10 on the list is Mr. Joc Pederson. Lefty bat. I've loved his swing. I really like this guy. I've liked him for a long time, actually, looking back to his years with the Dodgers. A great walk percentage coming up. Not as much anymore. It's still good. 9.7 walk percentage, 23.1 K percentage, has a 144 runs created plus. That is the highlight. 2.1 WAR on the season. He bat 274, 353, 521 across 433 plate appearances. Good for 23 home runs. Very good hitter. Why is he at number 10? He has one of the highest runs created pluses on this list. Third highest on this list. Why is he at number 10? Well, first off, the defense sucks. Okay? There's guys ahead of him that their defense is just as bad, if not worse. So why is he this low? It is mainly because the 433 plate appearances. Why is that? It's because he can't hit lefties. He can't hit crap against lefties. So obviously, if you're not playing against lefties, that is still a substantial part of the game. That's still at least 200 plate appearances that you're missing out on. He is fantastic for the plate appearances that he's on. Also, he's a year removed from hitting about average per runs created plus, if not a slightly below average. It was around a 97 runs created plus in 2021. The floor is definitely there still with Joc Pederson. He absolutely destroyed the baseball this season versus righties. You look at the Savant page, it's bright red where it needs to be. So he's had a fantastic season. Is he somebody that I'm willing to bet on going forward? Not necessarily. I'm a little shaky on what to really expect from Joc. We'll see. I mean, the profile is great. He mashes righties. Bad defensively, but like it almost doesn't really matter. He might play more DH coming into this season, but he's a fantastic hitter. But versus righties, not playing as much. If you're given around 400 plate appearances, it's good. It's a very good player and good enough to be in the top 10. And it was kind of tough to decide where I really wanted to put him, but I think the lack of playing time and just the fact that he can't hit crap against lefties just means that it just kind of limits him. It limits him quite a bit as a starting left fielder, really. He might be DH coming into this year, He might be a majority DH with the downfall of defense that he's had. But either way, we move on. Number 9 is Christian Yelich on the Milwaukee Brewers. Talk about a tough guy to analyze, man. Some people really believe that he's going to bounce back. I think this is what he is right now. I think he's around a 2.3, 2.5 WAR. He had 2.3 this past season. He's been right around there. I think he's around a mid to high 700s OPS. He's not great. He hit 252, 355, 383. So the big thing there is the power. The power has been sapped. He doesn't have the barrel percentage. He doesn't have the launch angle that he used to. Definitely not in those MVP seasons, or season and a half, really. It's not bad power. 14 homers, still nice. 19 stolen bases, good, very good. 13.1 walk percentage. Fantastic plate discipline. Still striking out a decent amount, 24.1 K percentage, but with that walk percentage, it doesn't look that bad at all. So he's still a good player. 111 runs created plus. He's fine enough on defense, 2.3 WAR. He'll be fine in left field. He's a fine player, but he's not close to the superstar he used to, and I don't think he's going to rebound really at all. I think this is him consistently showing that this is where he is. This is the type of player he is. He's above average, but not much more than above average. A little bit of speed, a little bit of pop, but only a little bit of both. He's not like fantastic in any scenario there. I'm confident in him going forward because of the walk percentage, 13.1, fantastic. So he does strike out a decent amount, so it's not like he's making a ton of contact. 327 BABIP, which is high, especially for a guy that only has a 252 average. So he's one of those guys that I could easily, if the BABIP goes down to 280, bro, he's getting to an unplayable stance because he's not making enough contact for the power to play. He's probably not getting on base enough to make the speed play. The on base is probably still good enough, like around 300 at least, 320, 330 maybe. But like, if that's all you got, then that's all you got, man. And that's not great. That's not very good whatsoever. So I'm a little, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see with Christian Yelich. I think this is where he's at, though, which is kind of why he's at number 9 right here. He was another tough guy to really judge. This was an easier list to make. Doesn't mean it was easier. Still tough. Still very, very tough. Number 8 is Andrew Benintendi. Now with the Chicago White Sox, basically their only move this offseason that I ripped quite a bit. I don't think he's worth the money that he got. He still definitely rebounded this season, hit 304, 373, and 399 right there, the power. 5 homers, 0.095 isolated power. He's not hitting for any pop. He's also not stealing many bases, 8 stolen bases. It's not bad, and honestly, with the bigger bases, maybe you see it rise up a little bit. Very good walk percentage, 10% walk percentage, 14.8 K percentage as well, which is very nice. Had a 342 WOBA, very nice. 122 runs created plus, very nice. 2.8 WAR, average defensively. His BABIP was definitely much higher than his career average. Now, I didn't look into him extremely, but seeing the BABIP go so high and seeing the power really dip from anything else we've seen in the past, 5 homers, never really seen his ISO this low. I'm starting to think this may have been a conscious decision on his part, or maybe from his team, from the Royals maybe. But it just feels like he just went for a way more contact-heavy approach while also leaning on the walk percentage. It's a good lane. It's a good lane to be in as a player, and I still like him. It feels like he's got this stable floor. He's got the good hitter skills with not much else, which definitely holds him. This is kind of feels like his peak at this point. Feels like the best season he's going to have, honestly. And when the best season you're going to have is a 2.8 WAR, it's not great. 122 runs created plus, still good and still obviously good enough to be on the top 10, number 8. He could have easily snuck up on the list, but like the power's not there, and it just, what are you going to do? The discipline is there, but, the BABIP, if it comes back down to his career average to 309, he was at 352 this past season. If it comes down 40 points, that's a chunk right there. That is a chunk. That is a huge part of his game. Obviously, the walk percentage is still good, but that's all you have then. Unless he's amazing defensively, he's not providing too much offensively or defensively, so he's just kind of there, you know? He's just kind of doing enough. He's one of those kind of glue guys, I guess, that's doing well enough. He may have been underrated this past season, honestly. That's a very real possibility. I don't know. I don't know what people really think of him still. But he had a good enough season. So he's number 8. He's good enough. I don't want to rip Andrew Benintendi too much. Am I just salty as a Red Sox fan? Is that it? Is that this whole podcast is me just ripping? Oh my gosh. No. I still like Andrew Benintendi. I still like it, even if I think you're overpaid and, your ceiling's capped and all these negative things. Either way, moving on to another former Red Sox, number 7, Kyle Schwarber. The dude hits bombs, man. 46 bombs over 669 plate appearances. He plays quite a bit. 128 runs created plus. He still hits very well. 355 WOBA as well. Very nice. 12.9 walk percentage compared to a 29.9 K percentage. So right there at 30%. Not great. It's great that he's taking his walks, obviously. Still taking his walks. Love to see it. But that K percentage is high, man. And that limits the floor. That really lowers the floor and also, lowers the ceiling as well. Because if he's not making contact, the power really can't play as well as it should. And he still hit 46 bombs. He also stole 10 bags. Just a little note. He stole more bags than Andrew Benintendi. Catch up, baby. 10 stolen bags for Kyle Schwarber. That's kind of insane. The BABIP was a little low. 28 points lower than his career average. He's sitting at 240 this past season compared to a 268 career average BABIP. Once again, could have been kind of a little bit of a mental switch or maybe a real switch that he was kind of swinging out of his shoes, trying not to make contact as much, but just trying to make power when he swung, because he still has that plate discipline. 12.9 walk percentage, once again, reminder. I love it. He hit 218, 323, 504. So the fact that the slugging plays so well, despite the average 218 average and a 504 slugging, that's crazy, man. That is a crazy difference. 286 isolated power, kind of crazy. He is the worst defender at left field. It was one of those signings that the Phillies made, and we were like, okay. But you have a DH now, but there's other people that need to use that DH option. So, Schwarber's playing left field then. And you also have Nick Castellanos in right field. Well, no, you've got him at DH. So, because you got Bryce Harper in right field. Obviously, he's injured, and he was injured for half the season last year. Injured being that he couldn't play right field, but he could still DH, which made it even worse for Philly. So yeah, he's the worst defensively at this position. Negative 13 outside of average, which definitely limits him. I'm definitely not taking into account as much. And on any other list, he would probably be right around 9 or 10, more like, instead of number 7. But because the bat is so good, the power is undeniable. Walk percentage is very nice. Good enough to get me a number 7, baby. He's good enough, and yeah, he's just fantastic, man. He knows what type of player he is, and the hope is that the BABIP comes back. If he comes up 20 points, bro, he is looking pretty. He's looking real nice with roughly, let me even, the BABIP comes up 20 points, which theoretically should add 20 points of average. He should be hitting 238, which still doesn't sound great. 238 doesn't sound great, but think about the bombs he can hit. And also the on base comes up 20 points, which is sitting around 343 right there. And the slugging means it can play even more. Fantastic hitter. Fantastic. As long as the BABIP comes up, which I'm not saying it will, I'm just saying if it does, he's even better than he is right now. That's all I'm saying. Kyle Schwarber, still a guy that needs to be paid attention to and feared in the lineup, because 46 bombs are no joke. Absolutely not. Most homers on this list by far. Very nice. All right, moving on to number 6, Mark Canha on the Mets. Wow, I almost forgot what team Mark Canha was on. I was like, A's? No, A's don't have good players. Mark Canha. All right. 128 runs scored plus for him as well. I upped him above Schwarber. Tough decision to make. All of these are tough decisions to make. Why did I do it? He's not a huge miss on defense. He's average defensively. Doesn't move the needle much for me, but it definitely gets him above Schwarber, who is dreadful defensively. 0 outs above average from Arcana, 2.8 WAR, 128 runs created plus. Like I said, he hit 266, 367, 403, 13 homers, 3 stolen bases. Good enough power. I was definitely comparing him a lot to Andrew Benintendi as well. The power is good enough. Walk percentage, good enough. Doesn't strike out too much as well, which ups his floor quite a bit for me. 309 BABIP right along with his career average. 343 WOBA. Good enough. He's a very boring player, honestly. Very boring. Probably the most boring player at number 6 for any of these lists. I guess we'll see how center field and right field shake out. But my feeling is that those lists will be better. I'm not saying there's not some superstars in this list, but, we'll get there when we get there. Either way, Mark Canha, he's there. He's good enough. He's consistent. He knows how to get hit by a pitch. I will tell you that. He's already been hit by a pitch in spring training. Always leads the league in that. I'm guessing the plan is always to jam him inside with a fastball or something like that from pitchers. And he always ends up getting hit. Look at that. Yeah, he's good enough. Number 5, young stud still, Randy Arozarena with the Rays. Still a great hitter. 125 runs created plus, 336 WOBA, 2.7 WAR on the season, F WAR per Fangraphs. I do want to say all my wars are Fangraphs wars. I never go with Baseball Reference, just in general. 20 homers for him. 32 steals. Those are the differentiators for me with Randy Arozarena. 32 steals, bro? 32 steals? He's the guy that I could easily see taking advantage of the pickoff rules now, the limited pickoffs. I could easily see him at least hitting 32 stolen bases again, and which is crazy. And 24 bombs, very nice. Makes a good amount of contact, good enough, I guess. He hit 263, 327, 445. So the power is definitely a difference maker for me. 183 ISO. Doesn't sound fantastic, but especially for last year, that's actually pretty good. Actually really good. So 20 homers is good enough for me. I think he can definitely keep that up. And I still really like Arozarena. I still really like some dude named Randy. And I'm still optimistic about what he can do going forward. He's still top 5 left fielder in my list. It's kind of crazy. We're at number 5, and I'm already I'm not over the moon about Randy Arozarena, but here we are. Number 4, Ian Happ with the Cubs. Tough guy to gauge. 3.5 WAR on the season. Good enough defensively. 2 outs above average in left field. 120 runs created plus. 17 homers, 9 stolen bases. Another guy where the power really differentiates him. And Arozarena was negative, defensively negative 2 outs above average, which is kind of the difference maker and definitely where the WAR difference comes versus Ian Happ versus Arozarena. Looking back on it, I don't know. They're kind of tough to compare with each other. 17 homers for Ian Happ, 9 stolen bases, 9% walk percentage, which is 2% higher than Randy Arozarena, but Arozarena was definitely a better hitter. 125 runs created plus. Man, it's really tough to gauge, honestly, who I would go with. They're very, very comparable. Happ is slightly better defensively, so I went with that. It is left field, so who really cares that much? Easily on your list, I could easily see, if you had Arozarena higher, I can easily see that, especially with the speed that he has, and the power that he's had. So, honestly, I could easily switch them. They're very, very close. 339 WOBA for Ian Happ, 336 WOBA. Very close. Very, very close for Happ and Arozarena. Very comparable. I decided to go with Ian Happ, but either way, I could easily see them flip. They're very comparable. Extremely comparable, even. All right, let's get into the exciting part here. Top 3, baby. Top 3. These are some great names, obviously. The top 3. Come on. We're starting off number 3, the rookie, Stephen Kwan with the Cleveland Guardians. Yeah, what a breakout, man. Contact machine. 298, 373, 400 slugging. Obviously, slugging is not his game. He's got the speed. He's got the contact. Walk percentage higher than the K percentage. 9.7 walk percentage. 9.4 K percentage. Absolutely fantastic. 124 runs created plus as well. Very nice. 4.4 WAR. He was one of the best defensively at this list. 11 outs above average. 96th percentile per Baseball Savant's judging. Yeah, he's only 6 homers, 19 stolen bases, though. Played a great amount, 638 plate appearances as well. Great slash line, 373 walk percentage on base is very, very nice. 341 WOBA. The power is obviously nothing to, get excited about. Only 6 homers, 101 isolated power, so, whoop-de-doo. But either way, still think he's a great player. The contact ability is fantastic. 323 BABIP as well, which is a little high, but a guy like him that has consistently had a high BABIP, I am not too worried about it. He is definitely one of those guys that you pull up the Savant page and you go, oh no, it was a flash in the pan, not good enough. I think he's got this skill set that kind of transcends the Savant page in a way, where he's not supposed to make sense. He's not supposed to adhere to the rules us baseball nerds have, he plays outside the rules, man. 124 runs created plus, 4.4 WAR. You can't deny it. He's fantastic defensively in left field as well. I could easily see him moving around a little bit. He could probably even spotlight in center if he wanted to. Probably be average at least there. Still like Stephen Kwan a lot. Think he's really good. Okay, top 2. This is where it gets tough, man, because it's like, who do I go with here? So, my number 2 is Juan Soto. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. So, Soto played all of right field last year, but this coming season, it's going to be Tatis in right field, and it's going to be Soto in left. So, I put Soto in left field on this list. Now, he was terrible defensively in right field. Negative 16 outs above average. He was terrible defensively. I think he'll be better in left field, just because it's a slightly easier position to play, but I still think he's well below average defensively, so take that off the table. Obviously, we know Juan Soto as the amazing superstar bat that he's always been. 145 runs created plus, 27 homers, 20.3 walk percentage. Holy crap, dude. 14.5 K percentage as well. 210 ISO, so the power's still there. Big difference here for him. 249 BABIP, which is 50 points lower than his career average. Kind of crazy. He hit 242, so that kind of explains that. But also, it gets your mind thinking, man. So he hit 242, and he still had over a 400 on base. He had a 401 on base percentage, a 452 slugging percentage. If his BABIP just comes back to the regular, his career average, if it comes up like 40 points, which is a huge amount, and I'm not saying it will necessarily, because you still need to make contact. I'm not saying it's completely luck-based, but I definitely think there's some luck involved here, and I think it definitely can come up around 30 points. You see his average come up to about 270. On base could even come up to continuing over 420 maybe. And then you see the slugging percentage most likely start to get into play a little bit more, and he's definitely going to hit 35 bombs at least, because the power still definitely plays. He's still a superstar. He had a down year, but he's still an amazing bat. Obviously, Juan Soto, fantastic player. We just talked about him earlier in this episode. But yeah, he is still the guy. He is still Juan Soto, and I definitely think he might be even a little underrated coming into this season, because he is about to have a fantastic season. WOBA was 376. Ex-WOBA was 401. Yeah, ex-WOBA was higher by like a good 20 points, good 20 to 30 points. So I think positive regression is coming, and I can't wait. It's going to be fantastic. I cannot wait. Which means my number one is Yordan Alvarez. That's right. He played more left field than Michael Brantley did. And coming into this season, it looks like if I was them, I would start Yordan more in the outfield because you want to preserve Michael Brantley's health. And obviously, Brantley's probably better defensively, but you got to preserve his health at this point. I think Brantley's really good, but as of right now, my starting left fielder would be Yordan Alvarez, and I think it will be for the Astros. I think he'll play more left field than Michael Brantley will. I could be wrong on this, and you could look back on it and go, why did Sam have Yordan Alvarez on his left field list? Like, what a mismatch. He's a DH. I think he probably should be a DH, but on the Astros specifically, they need him in left field. They need him. And he played 450 innings, 473 innings in left field, I believe. And obviously the bat, bro. I mean, why is he number one? He had such an amazing season, a 185 runs created plus. He is, neck and neck with Aaron Judge for best hitter in the American League. 6.6 WAR, 427 WOBA. He hit 306, 406. And a 613 slugging percentage. Holy crap. 37 homers, 306 isolated power, 13.9 walk percentage, 18.9 K percentage. Just a fantastic hitter all around. One of the funnest to watch. It's just filthy. And obviously he turns it up for the playoffs. It's crazy, man. It's absolutely crazy. And it was tough to kind of gauge who I should put over each other, Soto or Alvarez. I went with Alvarez, 185 runs created plus compared to the 145 runs created plus for Soto. If we're comparing hitters, Alvarez was definitely the better hitter this past season, and he could be this coming season. Even if Soto, has some positive regression, Alvarez could still be top of the list because he is such a fantastic hitter. Neither one of these guys are flash on the pans either, which is a tough thing to gauge as well. Both savant pages are bright red in all the right ways. And absolutely crazy top two guys. It was tough. I was going back and forth a little bit, but in the end, solidly decided on Alvarez. Just a fantastic player and fantastic season. Once again, 427 WOBA for him, 462 ex-WOBA. So you could even see a little bit of, he's got maybe a higher ceiling. Like, I don't think realistically, because it's not exactly how ex-WOBA works. It's not super predictive on whether the guy is going to perform better eventually. But still good signs. Always a good sign to see the ex-WOBA is at or higher than the WOBA. Always a good sign. So, Alvarez, superstar, gonna be a superstar, and just a joy to watch every single plate appearance. It's fantastic, man. The league is in such good hands. Juan Soto, Alvarez, top of the league. Steven Kwan as well, fantastic at number 3. Ian Happ, good enough at number 4. Randy Rosarena, still a lot of fun. The speed, the power, all of that good stuff at number 5. Number 6, Mark Canha, 128 runs created plus. Once again, very good hitter. Still very consistent if not boring. The dude that gets hit by the pitches so many times. Number 7, Kyle Schwarber. The power, absolutely insane. Once again, 46 bombs. Can't be ignored. Number 8, the complete opposite of the spectrum. Andrew Benintendi, super high average. Great on base. Consistent. Might see some regression, some negative regression there for Benintendi because of the BABIP being so much higher. We'll see if it does dip a little bit coming into the season, but we'll find out. Christian Yelich, number 9. I don't see a rebound here. Shout out Justin. I don't see a rebound coming, but we'll see. We'll see. And Jock Peterson at number 10. Mashes righties, doesn't play against lefties, which definitely holds him back, but a 144 runs created plus. Fantastic. The power is still there. 247 isolated power as well for Jock Peterson. thank you so much for listening, for watching this episode 186 in the books. Thank you so much. This is Around the Diamond, the podcast for the baseball nerd. Thank you for listening, watching, all of that. Make sure to like this video, subscribe, leave a 5-star review, all that good stuff. Thank you guys. I greatly appreciate it. I'll be back next week, hopefully with a guest. And starting next week, we're going to be doing 2 podcasts a week because I got to start cranking these puppies out. I got a lot of podcasts to get through. Once March starts, I turn up the jets here, and I've got to because it's coming down to the wire right now. It's going to be crazy. So I can't wait. Let's go, baby. Baseball is here. Baseball is so close to coming, and I'm going to be cranking out that good old content, baby. All right. Have a good one.